We're following breaking news in the nation's capital now. That's where the future of abortion rights is on the line. The Supreme Court hearing oral arguments over Mississippi's abortion law. And that law bans most abortions after 15 weeks, allowing them only in medical emergencies or cases of severe abnormality. The issue before the court is to decide whether the Constitution provides the right to seek an abortion. It's the most direct challenge to Roe v. Wade in nearly 30 years. That landmark decision says the Constitution protects a pregnant woman's right to choose without excessive government restriction. NBC News reporter Chloe Atkins is outside the Supreme Court where demonstrators are gathered. First, though, NBC News national security correspondent Ken Dateline is following the hearing itself from outside the Supreme Court. Ken, give us a sense of what's happening in the court this morning. What sort of questions are the justices asking?
Hi, Aaron. Well, the arguments have just concluded after about 2 hours, really an unprecedented session, and it's hard not to believe, after listening for 2 hours, that Roe v. Wade is in some trouble here. We have 6 conservative justices, many of whom were very clear in their questions that they're deeply skeptical about whether Roe v. Wade, granting women the right to abortion, 50-year precedent in this country, whether that was correctly decided. And a lot of the arguments by the other side, by the Biden administration and the lawyer for the Mississippi abortion clinic, and by the liberal justices, really had to do with the question of precedent. Essentially, like, even if you think Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided, you shouldn't overturn it because people have relied on it as the state of law in this country for 50 years. Women have relied on it. And that seemed to be the pitch that the liberal justices were making, that it would undermine the public perception of the court and lead people to believe that the Supreme Court is basically a political institution if the court overturns Roe versus Wade. There is a middle path that Chief Justice Roberts appeared to allude to. This law essentially bans abortions after 15 weeks, whereas the state of Roe v. Wade bans them after viability at 24 weeks. And Roberts seemed to be suggesting that you could uphold the Mississippi law without completely overturning precedent. But the conservative justices don't need Roberts to overturn Roe v. Wade. They can do it on a 5-4 vote. And so it really seems like we're headed to a dramatic conclusion here. We won't see a ruling in this case probably until June or July. Aaron.
At the same time, Ken, can you help us sort of understand what the bigger picture might be here? Can you put into perspective how significant this ruling would be, whichever way it goes? Which states might be impacted the most by it?
Well, obviously, it would be the most significant if they overturn Roe v. Wade, the 50-year precedent, because you've got 12 states that have trigger laws, which would immediately ban abortions. And then experts believe about half the states, 24, 25 states, would eventually pass laws banning or severely restricting abortions. So, you know, that would be a dramatically different America, where women who don't have the money to travel, to fly in some cases, to seek abortions would essentially be forced to carry a pregnancy to term. And we know about 54% of Americans believe that abortion should be legal. So the political ramifications of that, I think, are unknowable at this point, but they would be significant, Aaron.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.